Good morning, bookers. Welcome to What the Book. This is Cynthia Sullivan, international best-selling author from Australia. I am so pleased to have you here today on this, Sunday, my time, I guess. Probably Saturday, your time mostly. It should be a great hour. I'm excited. We've got all three co-hosts in the room today for the first time, plus a fantastic guest arriving shortly. So sit down, grab a cup of coffee, grab a little boozy if you're in the after 5 p.m. section of the world, and settle in for a fun hour. Good morning, Mark. MB Davis is in the house.
Hello, how are you this wonderful day? I missed you guys last week.
Missed you too, Mark. I did see your drink of choice today. I love the bottle.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's got a cute little skull on it. You know.
It's
so cute.
Is it still classed as, what do we call them? It's not in a can, so is it, if it's in a bottle? Look, okay. All right, I'm stupid when it comes to drinking, people, so I'm not a drinker. I'm not educated this way. But
that's okay. I just drink it. I don't really know that much about it myself. It's in a bottle, and that's all I know, and it tastes good.
It tastes good. Of course. Good morning, Peyton Storm. How are you?
Good. How are you? Can you guys hear me okay this time?
I can hear you. I'll wait for the guys to say in the thing, because I could hear you well last time. So we'll see what our crew.
Okay, yep.
They
say yes.
Yeah, you sound great.
Good morning,
Peyton. Officially,
sorry.
I gotta say hi.
Yes.
Hi to my friend. I see you across the United States. I'm waving. Can you see me? Hello.
I can see you.
Awesome.
Of course, for those.
Okay, we're all here.
Those bookers playing at home, is this the official first episode of What the Book with our new co-host team, MB Davis, author Peyton Storm, and of course myself, the ringing from down under. Our people in the house, Brian, T.O., Sir, good morning, or evening, depending on where you are in this beautiful world that we live in.
Yes.
Now, you two chat for a second. I'm just going to pop out and go hunt down our guest. Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, so for our guests that probably know, and for some that may be listening and don't know, I am originally born and raised in Texas, although I do not live there anymore. And Peyton is a Texan. Are you? I need to ask this: are you a native Texan? Were you born in Texas?
I was not, but
okay, that's okay.
I've lived
that's all right. That's
most
okay.
of my life, so.
This is a safe space. It's fine. But we share this Texas thing, and so I feel like the tides have turned, right? I feel like it's like the Texans, and then there's the other side of one of the
ponds. She made point to note that last week, actually.
Did she? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I
Me?
remember now.
Yeah,
yes.
well, because now I'm outnumbered. I'm feeling a little uncomfortable all the way down under by myself. Well, I mean, I was going to make a very intriguing joke about being down under by myself, but that just seems too truthful for me at the moment. So let's just go forward.
Yeah.
We'll jump forward a little bit.
Moving forward.
I need to. Oh my goodness! All right. So, hang on. I've got to get my laptop's not working, people. My laptop's not working.
That's okay. Hey, listen, we just continue on despite technical difficulties.
Yes, I'm trying to juggle up a guest at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I thought you were from Texas, Peyton, because both you and Clint put up the most amazing food.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Oh,
and
I do. I live here. I spent most of my childhood here, moved, and then came back. So I've been here nonstop since I was 16. So, yeah, the accent's here, the food's here.
I love the food, although sometimes it's a little confusing, but I get it. I just go along with it and think, oh, look, it's probably great. Okay, so our guest has been trying to phone in twice, and I've said no twice because I didn't recognise his name. So it's going well. It's going well.
He's Fekpivgu.
I can't. If you put up your name like that, I can't be held responsible. That's not the name of our guest,
but it is in the chat.
If you can call in again, I will open your mic. Brian has arrived in the house. So good morning, Brian. Now a little bit about a little bit about our guest, who I'm just opening his mic now. I've known this guy for years and years and years. It's honestly, I've spoken to him many times on his own podcast too. So I do believe you all follow him. He's so well known in the writing community. He's like the Papa Bear to all of us.
We all know,
of course,
Fekpivgu very well.
Of course, we're hoping the mics all work, and we're going to welcome DC Wright-Hammer into What the Books Welcome Bosomy Arms.
Hello, can you all hear me?
We can hear you fine. How are you, DC?
Okay, yeah. Oh, I'm doing okay. I really appreciate the invite and looking forward to making it weird.
Making it weird.
Yep.
We do that well. We do that very, very well.
Came to the right place.
Yeah, I didn't choose whatever that screen name is. That was default. Not sure where that came from. So here we are.
That's
perfect.
I want to call you.
It's really honestly perfect for what we do here.
Fekpivgu.
Yes.
All right. Well, this
sounds dirty.
It does sound a little on the kinkier side of life.
It does.
Peyton, do you know Of course you'd know DC Wright-Hammer.
We are actually brand new mutuals.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. I don't know how now. I will say we may have been mutuals like on my old account.
Yep.
But this one is really new. My mutual is really new. So maybe that's what happened. But yeah, we're mutuals now. So I may be stalking a little bit as we talk.
You'll love him.
Well,
He's good value for money, DC.
Yeah. I mean, you might get change back, but it's all right.
It's all right.
I'll do my best.
It's all right. Now, okay. Let's get down to business. DC Wright-Hammer. I nearly had your name around the wrong way then. I gotcha. Of course, author of Between Two Minds, The Awakening, being book 1, and Revelation being book 2. I've read Awakening, awesome book. I want to say it's refreshing. This is the words. Here I go. Bringing up my authory words now. Refreshingly different to what I've read elsewhere. How did you come across this? How did Between Two Minds, the series, come into your head?
Yeah, so when I started writing it, I didn't know anything about writing. It was just kind of an idea that came to me. And I thought, wouldn't it be neat if you could have two different point of views that go back and forth from one another? So literally putting the reader between two minds. At the time when I was writing it, I felt like I had to tell this story. I had a near-death experience that I talk a lot about on my Writer's Row podcast-style YouTube channel. My body was kind of giving out on me, but my mind was still sharp. And I thought, what if I could get out of my body, my mind, and if I could, upload it into a new body that still was healthy. And so I took that to the nth degree, wrote this whole long, 130,000 word, fiction of like, well, what could possibly go wrong if I got out of my body and into a new one? And what if there was still someone in there? What if there were memories or, flashbacks or whatever those are in there? And so I just wanted to write back and forth in an interesting way. Apparently it's called an interleave narrative. That's like a thing that people do in writing, but I had no idea about that when I started writing it.
Amazing. It's a really interesting book for those who are listening. I I couldn't recommend the story highly enough. It's an interesting concept. I mean, and because, the thought of upgrading my body does seem rather appealing in my
Right.
as I'm getting older, you bend down to pick something and you go, oh my God, that hurt. So upgrading, I could see the benefits in it.
Yeah, I can too. Like, I was thinking about this very sci-fi thought. There's always that thing of like cryogenics where you freeze someone and then they can come back in the future. And I'm like, I'm past the point where I want to freeze myself. I do need a younger body. I need a whole new fresh start here.
There you go.
Can we get like a 20-year-old body? Freeze that, whack me in it, we're good to go.
Freeze that one.
Yeah.
Not this one. Right.
In the series, I had to deal with a lot of that because if you just open it wide up, like the possibilities are endless, and that makes it hard to tell a really focused story. So it was only for people who were 35 or under. That's what I put on there, just to ruin everybody's hopes and dreams of living forever. But that's the rule. But does it really have to be the rule? Ooh, intriguing.
Oh.
Well, I can fake my age a little bit. I mean, God, Peyton looks like she's 26, so she can totally fake her way through all of this.
There you go.
Fake IDs just became so important.
Now,
do you know a guy?
Sorry, Peyton?
No, I asked Mark if he knew a guy. He's talking about fake IDs.
Have you ever faked an ID?
I have a fake ID? Oh, yeah, it's a thing over here. Because, I'm assuming, the drinking age in most of the states here is 21. So to get a fake ID and drink before that age is something that's very popular.
Oh, Sarah just said 19.
19, where he's
at.
Okay. Depending on where you're at.
All right, hang on a minute. Wait. Mark, have you, I'm going to ask every one of you, Mark, have you ever possessed a fake ID? We're all like past, we're not going to get done for anything. It's okay. Nobody's listening. Shh, we'll whisper it.
The statute of limitations is
done. Yeah,
there you go.
I can honestly say I have not. I never needed to, unfortunately. I drank anyway, but I didn't have the ID to I just drank other people's stuff.
I love it. Sarah's like, call the feds. Peyton,
stay in school.
Peyton, have you ever faked an ID? Have you ever been in possession of a fake ID?
Absolutely.
Nice. DC, have you ever faked an ID?
Haven't had a fake ID, but when my high school summer trip, so after I graduated, we went to this place called French Lick, Indiana. Real place. Didn't make it up.
French Lick.
Nice.
And we went to yes, French Lick.
Can I go there?
And
I won't go there.
Yes. And they had a place called French Liquors because that's funny. And I was 6'3", looked like a man when I got out of high school. So, I just walked in there, grabbed what I wanted and left. I didn't have to show an ID.
You won me on the names, DC. You just won me on the names. That goes down on my bucket list of places to visit when I get over there.
He just walked
you're going to
there.
It's Indiana where I'm from. You're going to be thoroughly disappointed, just to let you know.
Oh, look, it wouldn't be the first time that a French Lick hasn't disappointed me. So, all right. Sorry. You put it out there. I can't, walk away. Sorry, Brian. Sorry, your little innocent ears had to hear that. Now, I love how people are shocked. You've been on Bookers long enough. You know that there's nothing shocking about me anymore. It's just how I am. Now, I have never faked an ID. In Australia, it's 18 for drinking, or anything really. I'm 5'10" and, reasonably well endowed, I guess would be the word. So I walked where I wanted to walk. The only time I ever got asked for ID was over 18. I was past the drinking age when I got asked for it. And even now I walk in there and I'm just like, you want to see my ID? And they're like, no. You're like, please ask for my ID. I need an ego boost right now. Will you ask for my ID? They do not. Anyway, absolutely. So DC, have you said that when you started writing this one, that it was, the idea came to you. Had you ever contemplated writing a book previous to this? Where did your, have you always had a love of words or a love of writing, or were you a late bloomer?
I was a good writer early on. My 7th grade teacher told me that I was very descriptive as I wrote. And so in the back of my head, I always thought of myself as a good writer. In high school, I started writing. I think I got about 15,000 words into a story about a high school serial killer. It wasn't autobiographical, I swear. But this was like 3 or 4 years before Dexter came out, and so the story was the point of view of the serial killer who was in high school. And then I thought about finishing that years later, and the computer I had it on, this is back before the cloud was a thing. That computer died, and that story went with it. And so I didn't really write for the next probably 10 years after that, 10 or so years. And then I thought about writing a story, and then my uncle actually is an indie author. He's fairly successful. He was able to quit his day job. He writes space operas and a little bit of fantasy here or there. And so that kind of gave me the idea. Not only could I write a story, but I could self-publish as well.
Interesting. Talking self-publishing, this is something I'm going to bring up with all of us, because it's something that I find fascinating, and I know that it crosses the mind of a lot of listeners and newbies and, existing authors as well. You self-publish. Was it always something that you decided to do, was self-publish as opposed to querying for trad?
Yeah, I had no idea about querying or traditional publishing or anything in that path. I just knew from, a little bit from what I learned from my uncle and what I could Google that I could publish a book. And so when I finished the first draft or the manuscript for the first book, I knew I wanted to get a professional editor. So my first step was go find a professional editor. And so scoured the internet, found a great professional editor, and sent it out. I actually tried 2 or 3 and found the right fit, and got it professionally edited, and they kind of walked me through all the steps to self-publish. They did the formatting, all that, so it was kind of out of the box, and that's kind of the way I went. And now I've become a champion of self-publishing and indie authors, but also definitely warmed up to the idea of querying. And I've talked about this on Twitter and on my podcast, but I'm writing a fantasy novel, and I'm really considering querying that to start, and going through that process, documenting it on my podcast just to talk through it so people kind of know the ups and the downs and what I'm going through, and kind of do check-ins and things like that. See where that gets me. Not think of self-publishing as a fallback plan, but it is something you can always do regardless of where you're at in your publishing life cycle. Absolutely.
See, I've got the same sort of thought pattern because I'm indie published, and I don't know, relatively, they do all right. I don't like the word successful, but they do all right. I do have a couple books that sit down that I query out and whatever else. And it's quite a journey. You indie publish, you press your publish, you write your book, you edit it, you get your cover, you get all of the shebang, and you self-publish, and the satisfaction is really quite instant. It's quite, you're in control of the whole thing. But once you get into querying, you have to, it's a harder road for your self-esteem level, I've found personally for me. Because I can have something successfully go on indie, and yet a trad publisher will go, oh, nobody will ever buy that book, and yet I can prove that they will because they are. It's a very interesting. it's very different, very hard mentally to tackle. For me personally, just me, bookers, do not write me hate mail. I'm just talking personally. I find it very mentally hard. Peyton, when you're self-published, was that a conscious decision, something that you always wanted to do? What's the story with that?
Well, real quick, if I may.
Absolutely.
Before I get into my answer, I do want everyone, just in case anyone didn't see it, I want to congratulate you. You mentioned a huge milestone yesterday.
Yep.
You have finished writing your 26th book in 8 years.
26.
26.
Wow.
Amazing. So I'm so, I want to be you when I grow up. What you do, it's just amazing to me, like what you're able to do, not only with this podcast, but you keep the books going, and it's amazing to see. It's very inspirational.
I need to, your mic is going, Peyton. I need to get you either closer to it or, cause if you're,
How about now?
hang on, talk for me.
How about now?
That's a bit better, a little bit better. You're getting a bit faded. Look, thank you very much. A 26 books, I just finished my 26th book, and, I had somebody ask me, how did you do that? And I'm like, I don't know, one word at a time. It's pretty much the only way I can say that you did it is one word at a time. You just, I don't know, just write. I don't know how. I just do it. But thank you very much, Peyton. I appreciate the shout out. Now your story. Why did you make the choice for indie authoring, indie publishing?
Well, in the back of my mind, I always wanted to do it, but I kind of sat back and just observed. Twitter is very open and vocal about both sides. You've seen huge success stories on both sides, and you've seen absolute disasters on both sides. So I sat back and just kind of watched that whole situation and kind of debated with myself, like, am I willing to do this? Am I not willing to do that? And then just the fact that, I was such a control freak. I knew I would have struggles. I knew I would. And so at my age and everything that I want to do, I just don't know that I have the time for that process, the cost of querying and all that stuff. So I just wanted to hit the ground running. And so that was, not that I'm not going to rule it out in the future, but right now, Indie is the only option that I'm really looking at.
Right. We're still having, I can hear you, but we're still having mic issues, so we're going to have to try and tweak you a little bit. Mark.
Yeah, it's low, but it also sounds a bit like you're a mermaid, like you're underwater.
Which, yeah.
But I like mermaids.
Yeah.
So.
Mark,
that's okay.
With your book, what are your choices going to be made? Where are you going with it?
Yeah, I had flip-flopped when I tried writing a number of different things, and when I was writing short stories and things. Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? I had a friend of mine that really encouraged me early on that had written a few books, and he had indie published, and then he went with a smaller, I would say a medium-sized press, and he really gave me the rundown. I got to see from his vantage point what that was, and it wasn't one of the big publishers, but he was in a writing group with someone who went with a big publisher. So I was fortunate in that early on when I was deciding, do I want to do this writing thing, via him, I got this viewpoint of what it looks like or can look like for someone that goes through, one of the big four now, there's only four of them, versus one of the, like a medium or small press versus someone that's, indie. And I just decided that weighing all the options for me, indie just made kind of the most sense. I liked the idea that I could control the pace. Because I remember one thing he went through was he sold a trilogy, and he had to go through the process of getting, here's the first book, and I've got two more in mind. And like, great, go write it. And they're like, cool. Can you have us the next one in 3 months? And he was like,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have.
So, I mean, you just don't, but yet they wouldn't have published it even if he had met that goal for probably another year, year and a half after that. And so just seeing the how this thing can kind of go and that someone else is dictating, like he literally killed himself to get it done within, I think, 5 months.
Yeah.
Taking time off of work, and his family was very supportive and everything, but it's just so much stress and so much. And then this was the clincher for me, when he really started talking through, they don't have any more idea about how to market a book than he does. In fact, they were taking notes from stuff he was doing. And then I was just like, okay, then why am I going to put myself through that? And they're going to get like part of the money for that? Like, that makes literally no sense for me.
Absolutely.
So just from my vantage point, that was just kind of, again, I had kind of a big, medium, and indie view early on, I think, and that for me, information I was getting, it just seemed like, indie. And the more I got to know with Twitter and everything going on here, the more I wanted to be supportive of that option. And the more I just said, this feels like the way that the industry is kind of moving anyway. When you move from 5 publishers down to 4, and you see everything and people leaving the industry and all of that, it just doesn't feel like it's gonna go well.
It's no longer the do or die situation that it used to be.
Right.
And when I first started writing, some of the advice that I first, because as writers and especially as newbies, there's advice everywhere, and you really have to. I listened to everybody's advice, especially at the start. I listened to everybody's advice and take it on board. And people give advice because, they want the best for you most of the time. And, you try and you see what works for you. Now, for me, it was about, I always wanted to be indie published because the advice given to me was build your brand. That the big trads aren't going to touch anybody or take a risk on anybody. And it is a huge risk they take when they're putting in thousands and thousands of dollars into an author that they have no idea who it is or how they get traction in the written world. That the best option, or the best, if you are wanting trad publishing, the best scenario is to get a track record behind you. Build your brand, get your books out there, get sales, get traction on your books and you as an author. And give the trad, if you're wanting trad, give the trad people something that they're going to see a return of investment on. Otherwise, there's millions of people that are querying every day. So you have to try to make yourself stand out. So that's putting in all the hard work. And this is where the catch is. So you put in all this massive hard work. There's, for me personally, there's 8 years of slogging, and most of the time there's no 9 to 5 job in this. It's, Peyton, you're up till wee hours of the morning doing all sorts of shenanigans. We're not working a normal standard job. It's a 24-hour a day, 7 days a week. We get bits in and pieces wherever we can,
Exactly.
So you put all these years into building your brand, your market, your sales, your whatever else. And then some trad publisher comes along and goes, oh, yeah, I'll come in now and I'll take some of your profit. And you're like, well, hang on a minute. I don't think I like that anymore. So it's an interesting thing. And I think you're right, Mark. I'm not convinced that trad long-term will stick it out. We'll see. I mean, it's always going to play a part, but it's certainly not the dominant that it used to be.
It's changing, though.
Absolutely,
sure.
Peyton.
Definitely changing.
And for the better, I think. I think it allows a lot more diversity in writing and in what the readers can access. Because we don't all want cookie cutter books. We want something different and unique and refreshing. And, in my view, I don't know, I could be very wrong, but in my view, I need to put that on a shirt, like tattoo it on my head. In my view only, whatever she says, it's just in my view, people. Get
Like
myself
you
into
need the
all sorts.
Obi-Wan Kenobi shirt that says "From a certain point of view."
From a
That's
certain point of view, from a Z
you're
point
done.
of view, from a Z point
That's
of
right.
view. There you go.
There you go. That works.
DC, Writers Row. You started Writers Row. Was it about the same time that Bookers started, or was it before mine? I think you were going before mine.
Yeah, it was pretty close. April of 2019, which feels like a decade ago. So yeah, we got in a year before the pandemic, and still putting out content. Not as much as I'd like, but still getting videos out there.
Writers Row, for the bookers listening at home, of course, is a YouTube channel. DC's fantastic. He gets all sorts of authors, but he's a lot more professional than what the book goes. We're like the Wayne's World of podcasting on this show. DC, one of your latest ones, I wanted to ask about this because I think it's relevant. You had William F. Aker, please tell me I said his last name right, on.
Iker, yeah.
There you go. That's how it is, Aker. I knew. That's what I said. Bad reviews. How do we deal with bad reviews? This is something that's we all have to cross at some point. So I'm interested to know what our different tactics would be. How would you deal with a bad review? How would you advise to deal with a bad review, DC?
Yeah, I've done a couple of videos on that. The one you're referring to was actually specifically if authors are going to read other authors, and what if you don't like that other author's work? What do you do with that? And so we went back and forth, right? What's the purpose of you reading that book? If you're trying to help out a friend, obviously a bad review, not going to really help them out. So you might provide feedback if they want it, but ultimately, or you might even just, if you can provide just a written review that kind of summarizes some of the strengths without being able to do like a start review or something like that. In the end, we want to support each other as independent authors. We don't want to drag each other down. We're also building our own brands. And so if we're going to review a book and put our name on that review, we just need to understand that there's something that comes with that. Yes. And so we kind of went back and forth. Ultimately, if someone reaches out and says, hey, I think you would like this book, could you give it a read and an honest review? That's a really good way to approach people. The other, instead of, hey, I need reviews, can you read my book?
Yeah.
It's very much a, hey, I think you'd like and knowing who the person you're talking to is and knowing what genres they like, I think that's important. Getting back to your original question, Z, of how do we handle bad reviews? Poorly to start, I think is probably how, you read it and you're like, oh my gosh, those are my words and they hated them. But I think that's part of the business, right? And I make the joke, I want to get so popular as a writer that a lot of people hate my work because I believe that more people will actually like my book, or like my work, like my writing. And so, Amazon, for example, if you have all 5-star reviews, a lot of people think that's kind of suspect. They're like, why are they only getting 5-star reviews? And obviously, if they have 3 or lower, that's also kind of suspect. They're like, well, this is probably not high quality. The sweet spot's something like 4.5 stars. And so, you it sounds weird. You don't want to aim for 100% on this if you really want, the casual person to walk by or see your work and want to pick it up. Bad reviews are part of the process. I actually have a Word file, a Word document, replying to each one of my bad reviews that will never be seen in public, but it gives me an opportunity to vent, like, hey, I see you didn't like this part of my work. Here's what I think. Here's what I learned from the review that is not favorable. and then I can move on. It sort of gets it off my chest.
Mm.
I love that. I mean, look into that.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
It is. I mean, because, I think I can see just being able to kind of exhale after addressing some things. So that's a great idea.
Because I got a 3-star review, and there was like 7 paragraphs tearing my first book to shreds.
Wow. 7
just
paragraphs?
ripping it. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, how did you get through that whole thing and tear it to shreds and still giving me 3 stars? Like, the 3 stars was so confusing to me because they clearly didn't like it, but I don't know. I'll take it. Obviously, I don't want less, but it was just hilarious to me.
Okay, just
It feels.
I want to. Sorry, go on, Mark.
Just real quick. I just wanted to say 2 quick things. One, that feels like it had to have been a writer because someone wrote 7 paragraphs as a review. That's a long, long review. And second of all, my thing is with reviews is I've only had beta readers read like some of my short stories or paragraphs or whatever. And I've had people give me really great feedback, but I've also had, and I know it's a little bit different, but you still have that thing in you when someone says something that you don't agree with, where you want to like respond. But I think even in that situation, I'm like, no, I'm just going to thank them and say thank you because honestly, they took the time to do something and I'm not paying these people. So that was very nice of them to do that. But I do have a thing. This is the last thing I'll say that I started and I put it on Twitter where, and this is my remedy, is to show 2 things. Number 1, every book has bad reviews pretty much.
Yeah.
So what I do is I get another indie author and we go and pick like really big popular books and we pick out really bad reviews and we read them, against other people's books like, Ready Player One or, Dracula or, big books, right? And the point is like every book is going to get a bad review. You can't, as an indie author or any author, you can't let that get to you too much. Like it's going to sting, but it also kind of goes with the territory. But the fun thing about it is that we basically mimic the idea of Jimmy Kimmel's celebrities reading mean tweets. So we kind of have the same music playing in the background. It's the same format and it totally mimics that. So it's like this funny kind of riff on that idea. And it's very cathartic because it as we're putting these together and reading them, you realize like if you don't get bad reviews, it's probably because you don't have any reviews. And it really does become something that you have to like realize. It's like those rejection for people trying to go to be a trad author. It's like, you know what? Stephen King put those things on the nail, right? And it was part of the process. And it's almost like makes you feel like a real writer in some sense, even if it hurts.
Yeah. All right. Take this one. Ready? This book is supremely awful and the author needs to find another line of work. I don't remember the last time I read anything that was this poorly written. This author, the publisher, the editors, if there were any, and Amazon should be ashamed of putting out such a ridiculously awful thing. This is my best-selling book that was my only 1-star review for it. I tell you what, it hurt when I first got it because it's like a 2,000 word review on my book. He ripped the shit out of it, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. When I read it, honestly, I was just like, oh my, and I have hundreds of reviews that are all 4 and 5 stars, best-selling book, whatever, yada. Got this 1-star review and thought, that's it. I'm never going to write again. I'm going to go neck myself in the backyard. I can't do this anymore. Blah, 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 blah. As you do, because, one person's opinion means everything. The spike of sales of that 1-star review was quite fascinating. It's like a validation that, and it's something as an author, I think we all have to understand. Well, you don't have to understand, I guess that's the wrong term, but we all possibly for our own mental health should understand that we cannot please everybody. Everybody is not going to like our books. Everybody is not going to understand the context, the phrasing, the word choices, the whatever else. That's part of the creative purpose or, theory behind writing, I guess. That if somebody spends all this time, and I mean, for the amount of writing that he did and the detail in his review, he read it a number of times and paid for it. So, I go, okay, you were invested in it.
Hated it so.
He hated it that much.
I love he hated it so many times that he read it multiple times.
He loathed it to the point where he was very invested in my book, and it wasn't until somebody pointed out that when take a read of it though, he loved hating your book, and I'm like, okay, that's good. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing if somebody hates it to that point. So bad reviews, they cut, they do, but you have to understand that theoretically you write for yourself. It's a story within you that needs to get out of you. And you write a book that you want to read. And if other people want to read it too, then that's great. If you've written it from an authentic place within yourself, I can't see that how you won't get readers. You just need to target or find the people in your genre, your niche, or whatever. That can be the difficult part, is finding your targets. But as long as it's an authentic story from yourself, I think you're always on a winner, no matter what.
Right. There's always a reader for every story.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the tricky part, though, Peyton. It's a tricky part. That's where
it's very tricky. But I will say, when it comes to reviews, I mean, okay. First and foremost, I'm a firm believer that reviews are for the readers, not the authors.
Yes, thank you. So God, I would hump your leg right now if I could. Go on.
Right, so so that's my first thing, right? So I think with that mindset, it helps me not to, because as long as they're not attacking me, the person, once I write something and I hit publish, I just put something out for consumption, right? For public consumption. So they are able to do with it whatever they choose.
Exactly.
And also you can take a negative review, and like you said, it will actually bring, in my opinion, and what I have seen in just my own book purchasing things that I have done, a lot of times a negative review will sell more books than the glowing 5-star reviews.
Absolutely.
And just an example, I came across a review on someone's book. I won't name names, but the person gave it 1 star because it was too much graphic violence, sex, and language.
Which book? I need it. Okay. Sold.
So it's one of those situations. I don't just look at the star. I look well, why did this person hate it? Because why this person hated it may be the exact reason another person is going to scoop that book up.
Absolutely.
So, and like he mentioned, if it's all 5 stars, and we've read those reviews where it's almost like a copy and paste type response, that, is that their mom? Is that their, kindergarten teacher or whatever? It's the ones that are I really liked it, but the ones that kind of ride that line, because I personally have never read a book that I loved every single thing about it. And so
I'm gonna tell you what, right now, I'm gonna put this out there on the podcast.
Yeah.
My mom better effing write or buy and read my book.
Mrs. Davis, you're being on call now. You're done.
I'm telling you, I shouldn't have to leave a review though. That's okay.
No, yes, she does. Yes, she does. Mrs. Davis, can you do mine too, please?
She could.
Yeah. And Peyton's and DC's. We got it all.
We got a whole
list.
Yeah.
We got a whole list.
Yeah.
So that's just where my stance is on it. As long as they don't come after me, the person, there's always a silver lining to those negative reviews.
I don't know about everybody else. Please, let's
Right. Again, yes. I mean, you
but
hate me for it.
no.
Yeah, that's my view on it.
I don't know about anybody else, but I rarely read 5-star reviews.
Exactly.
It's not actually what I'm interested in. I want to know what you didn't like about it. I'm more likely to read the 1 and 2-star reviews on a book that I'm going to go buy or I'm interested in buying than I am the 5-star reviews.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Because, you can change the filter, like show the most negative first. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to hear the Hallmark version, right? The Hallmark card. I don't want to read that version of the review. I want to read that person who was up till 3:00, threw their Kindle across the room because this, and this. That's what I'm looking for.
Absolutely.
Those books.
That's when you dig into the, the individual reviews, when you're opening those things up. But that initial grab, we all know what that looks like. It's like it shows you what's the cumulative, average number of stars and total number of reviews, and those are stats that people look at. That's honestly like things that readers pay attention to. So before they even get to that point, that's why like number of reviews and things like that are so important, because people, unfortunately, they won't even pay attention to your book sometimes if you don't have over a certain number of reviews.
Right. I will glance at like the pub date and kind of like, oh, okay, this book's been out this long, blah blah blah. But another issue, and all over social media, readers authors are constantly asking, if you've read, please leave a review, please leave a review. And that's another thing, that's an Amazon type thing, because once you hit 50 reviews on your book, that's when you're able to take advantage of like their free advertising. So that's, at least that has always been the case as far as I know. I don't know if anything has changed, but 50 is that one that everybody tries to get to as soon as possible, because then your book can land like in their emails and stuff like that. So Amazon kind of pushes that as well. Like, you're not really going to see your book, on our site or in our emails or whatever until you hit like 50 reviews. And
this was where the problem stands, is that so many people can read your book. God, you wouldn't even want to know the percentage of sales that I've had as opposed to the percentage of reviews that I have. Right, it's just ludicrous. I mean, it probably shames. Okay, so like I've got, 35 odd K followers on Twitter, and I engage, generally I have, between, 200 to 500 people generally that interact with me on a daily basis. So the percentage is little. That looks huge compared to the amount of sales per review that I have on that. People don't review. It's hard. Reviews are hard to get. Very hard to get. And I'm really not the type of person who enjoys begging. I'm not that person.
I will absolutely do it. I'm like, listen, I have this many followers. That's what I told them the other day. I'm like, listen, I have this many followers, and only a handful of you guys follow this podcast. Get over there.
I did see that.
I do the same thing. Absolutely. I'm like, listen, no, this isn't what we're going to do. So it's like my Twitter page, I have maybe, I think it's like 1,300 maybe. But like, you know how it goes. Nothing gets the attention, more than a selfie. So I'm like, listen, we're going to take that same energy and we're going to, apply it here and apply it there. So yeah, I mean, I have zero problems. So if you go through my timeline, I'm like, hey, leave a review.
Brian,
you got it.
Brian just said, you don't beg, you threaten. And I love that.
I pretty much agree. I mean, that's not wrong. I mean, he's
get your asses over there. Go do what you know. You need to be doing this, people. Don't start with me.
Yes.
That's right.
DC.
I don't know what it is though. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it is. DC, how do you attack the review aspect? Like, will you beg for them? Will you, like, how do you do that?
Yeah, any way I can get them. Always remind people. And one of the things, I actually just did a video with Beth Anderson on my YouTube channel, and I did one of those Amazon free days. I actually did 5 in a row, and it was very successful. I got 9 ratings out of it and like 3 actual reviews,
Fantastic.
4 actual reviews. And I gave away like 1,000 books. So there's like 1,000 books out there that are just sitting on people's Kindles that could potentially be reviews in the future. I'm at 81 on my first book. Super excited about that
awesome.
number. I'm getting close to 100.
That's great.
And no, absolutely. I think, we have to understand that reading a book is not the fastest way to absorb content these days. And so people read it over hours, days, weeks, months. And so it takes time. And in that time, all kinds of stuff can happen. Their grandmother could pass away.
Yeah.
A pandemic can happen. They can watch a movie that pisses them off. And then they read your book and they get done with it, and it just could reflect all the things that they didn't like, and they can leave you a bad review or whatever it might be. And then you also have trolls. Someone locks onto you because they're looking for some reason to feel something. They lock onto you. They review bomb your stuff. So there's all kinds of different people out there. And so absolutely, ask for the reviews, talk to people, network, be a good person, build your brand. And I think over time, a lot of that stuff works itself out.
It does.
If you have a good book, if you have a good story to tell, whether it be literary fiction, it's got this, complex story you're trying to tell, or genre fiction, it sticks to, the blueprint. It delivers on what the readers are looking for. Whatever it is, if it's good, I think oftentimes a lot of that stuff works itself out. So don't be afraid to ask for the reviews. Don't be afraid to, figure out how to get your book into more people's hands. And so, my book has been out for 4.5, almost 5 years, and I'm still pushing it like it came out yesterday because not everybody's heard of it. Very small percentage of people have actually heard of my book because I'm not very good at marketing, but also because I have, very limited resources. So, just because your book, I think, Peyton was mentioning, let's look at when it was published, but most people don't really care about that because the book is new when they first discover it. It's new to them. And so get it into that next person's hand. Don't worry about how old it is. Don't worry about, whatever reviews it already has. Look for that next one. Look for that next reader.
I've got two things I need to say about this sort of stuff. You're going to have to bear with me for a second. One is why I don't beg for reviews is because readers owe us nothing. They don't. They buy our books. They read our books. They either enjoy it or they hate it, whatever their choice may be. From that point on, they don't owe us anything. I am all for reminding people. I am all for going, hey, this helps us as authors to review. We really appreciate it. Getting cheeky with it is great. Hey, I'm near 50. I need this, blah, 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 blah. Absolutely. As long as it's taken in more of a tongue-in-cheek thing. But you've got to remember that the readers owe us nothing. They don't have to do shit for us. And Amazon's the same. They KDP, they all do the same thing. They owe us nothing. We have to fight for every single bit of airtime that we try and get hold of. But when they do leave a review, it's fantastic, of course. The other thing I wanted to mention was that I found, this is just me, again, hate mail at CynthriaSullivan@gmail.com, whatever. That the best way to keep yourself relevant is to keep writing. The best way to advertise your previous books is to write new books, because then they find, you're constantly reminding them what you've written, plus you're also feeding in new stuff all the time. It's a pressure. It's a horrible, horrible pressure that we get ourselves into, and it's not for everybody, but you think about, you mentioned before my 26 books. Well, that's my technique is I keep on writing. I keep new stuff going. I tend to not release anything in the first 6 months of the year. And then the second 6 months of the year, I will do month to month, back to back stuff. because it becomes a snowball effect. It gives readers a break from me for 6 months where I'm just, reminding them what I have written, giving them a chance to digest what I've done. And, I'm not up in everybody's grill for 24 months, or 12 months of the year. God, I just added a whole, year into my year. It feels like that sometimes, people. It feels like that. I don't want to be up in everybody's grill all year. So I tend to do, I sit back for 6 months, do a crap load of writing, and editing and whatever else. I write all the year, but I only tend to release in the second half of the year, and I get back to back and just hammer it through. It keeps me really relevant up in everybody's, because they're just like, oh my God, you're writing all the time. There's just, you've released 4 books in a row, and I'm like, no, I've been writing for,
I love that approach. I love that idea.
It works. It's sort of like you pull yourself back from people so that when you push yourself forward, they want you. If you're constantly, this is just my opinion, if you're book throating people all the time, they're going to choke. You know what I mean? Where if you pull out a little bit, you give them time to swallow, give them time to breathe a bit, then drive back in harder, that's when you're going to get a bigger impact. Look, okay, I had to go there. Radio.
We're talking about dinner, right?
Yes! I love Brian at the moment. He's getting such an insight into me right now.
That sweet book release.
The book release at the end, see? But you got to pull back a little bit before you drive forward. Otherwise, it's just, you end up choking. And nobody wants to choke. People, nobody wants to choke. All right. Now, gosh, I get myself into so much shit. Peyton, at some point you're going to go, oh my God, I said yes to come onto this podcast. What the hell? Too late now. You're in. We've handcuffed you to the chair. It's just the way it is. But we have come to the end the end section of our podcast, and we have both of you here today, so this is exciting. DC, you're in for such a treat today. We play a game at the end of, that's very, very apt. We play a game at the end of our podcast called Booker a Feud. We have a high
high production
value. Yes, that's the music that we have. Book a Feud. It's like Family Feud, but of course for legal reasons, we call it Book a Feud. We do not want to be sued. So I have a question from, it's a real Family Feud question. 100 Americans have been surveyed. I have 5 answers in front of me. We have Team Mark and Team Peyton. DC, which team would you like to side with today? Who is going to be your teammate?
So I've known Mark too long, so I have to be Team Peyton.
Team
That's fair.
Peyton. All right. So Peyton and DC, what team name would you like?
I'll let you decide on that one. What do you like?
Oh boy. We're going to be because it's trending, Team Morbius.
Morbius. All right. Team Morbius. Mark, what team name would you like?
Oh man, that threw me. I don't know I usually try and compliment whatever the other name is. Now I'm just like, there's a million Marvel characters floating around in my head right now. Let's go with I'll be Team Thor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Thor.
That's all, isn't it?
I'm not.
It's hammer time. All right.
Yep. Yeah. Does he have the hammer, or do I? We'll find out at the end of this. Okay.
Oh.
All right, Mark. Look at you getting all kinky. Did you feel uncomfortable with that?
Wright-Hammer. I was trying to make it. All right.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Oh, see, DC caught on quicker than I did. I was back with my book throwing, but okay, I gotcha. I'm with you.
Okay.
Stop. Hammer time.
There you go.
There we go.
I would bring it out. I'm that old. I would bring it out. I used to have a pair of those pants too. Okay, different story.
Did you have did you have those for real?
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone growing up who had a pair of those pants.
Yeah, I did.
Parachute pants?
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
No, but I didn't know anyone that had those.
I
just saw them on like MTV.
Oh,
Okay, all right.
they're amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
The freedom of movement in them was amazing. It was very comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't breathe for shit, but they were.
The summer heat in Queensland was not pleasant with them. No, but, you know. Oh my goodness. Jams. What's jams? And a swatch. I knew what a swatch is. I used to have a swatch. What were jams,
Oh, yeah, swatch.
Brian? I don't know what jams are. Is this an American thing? Jammies? As in jammies? Jams. Anyone know what jams are?
Could be music.
Colourful pants. Like underwear?
Okay, there were a lot of jammies.
Like thongs?
Are you like no?
Was this? Yeah.
Was it like the skater pants, like with the like checkers, like the checkerboard type?
Yeah, like a Trapper Keeper cover, but on your pants.
And
you know
like
what I'm saying?
That's
right there. Come on.
The side pockets with like the zippers and stuff.
Beach shorts. Like big colourful beach shorts. Is that what you're looking for?
Board shorts.
Okay. No, we didn't have them down here. We had hypercolour shirts. Did you have hypercolour shirts?
Oh, where they change?
They change colour with the heat?
With your heat.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'd all like heat up our hands and put them over our boobs so it looked like we were, anyway, move on. All right, the question, people. Team Morbius and Team Thor. First team in with their name. Welcome to the 80s. I love it. I feel at home here. First team in with their name gets to go first, and then we will go alternate until we find a winner. All right. The question is, don't blame me for any of this. This is Americans, 100 Americans surveyed. So, I'm not claiming any responsibility whatsoever. Name something that starts with the word space.
Thor.
Oh, Team Thor's in. He came in hammer hard. All right. Where are you going, Mark?
Well, I mean, I got to go for the obvious. Star Wars.
Okay, I'm going to repeat the question for you because I'm feeling very generous right now. Okay.
Mark, how much?
How much?
I thought you said it started with star.
Started with space. Space. Name something that starts with the word space. S-P-A-C-E. Of course, we have help going on down in the chat room too. So there's always stuff going on down there with T.O., Sir. They've all travelled in very quickly. Mark's already gone. Yeah. No, well, you've come in first. You've dinged first, so you've got to go. You've rung the devil's doorbell. You have to answer it.
Yeah.
Name something that starts with the word space. He did come in a little premature, didn't he, sir? Yes.
Yes. Space needle.
What? Is that your answer?
What?
Yeah.
Space needle.
Final answer.
Is that your final answer?
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't even know what that is. What the hell is that?
Space Needle? It's in Seattle? So never mind.
Hello, Tio. You suck at this game. Oh, look, Tio's going to...
I am not good at this game.
Oh, Team Morbius. You guys
Words that start with space. Star Wars.
Yeah, man.
Mark, you're not right.
It happens in space. All right.
Right.
You're not going to live that down for a while, Mark. All right.
Okay. That's great.
Team Morbius, you can confer, of course, before you give me a final answer. Peyton and DC, name something that starts with the word space.
Yeah, someone said spaceship. What do you think?
That's the first thing that came to mind.
Let's go for it.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer, spaceship.
Yes. Ding, ding, ding. On the list, it's number 4. Number 4 on the list. Spaceship.
That's too obvious, though. Come on, guys.
But it's still on the list, Mark. They did better than you.
Damn it.
We had the right word.
Remember the percentage of win-loss ratio you had with Kaya is now wiped free because we have a new host. And Peyton won.
That can't be repeated. I'm just All right.
All right.
Let me put on my thing.
Name something that starts
Space.
with the word space. Team Thor, Mark, what do you got?
Let's go with this is not what my brain isn't working. All I can think of is that SNL skit where he keeps singing about space pants. I know that's not on the list.
Mark.
I am in trouble right now.
Pants.
Look,
All the same.
there is a lot of good answers going on in the chat. The boys are there for you. If you
I'm not even looking.
well,
at
this
the,
is obvious,
at the chat.
honestly, because if you go and
look at the chat.
if you go look at Tio, Sir, or Brian, they've got a lot of good answers going on in there. I can't say they're all right.
Okay, let me look.
I'm not going to say they're all right because there's a few in there that are not, but they're helping you out. The boys have got your back.
Okay, so I like because we talked about the 80s, I liked Space Invaders. So let's go with Space Invaders.
Is that your final answer?
Nice.
Yes.
Ding, 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 it's on the list. It's number 2.
Yes!
Number 2 on the board.
Number 2.
Yes.
Oh, number 2. So, thank you, Tio.
So far we have Space Invaders and Spaceship. Team Morbius, name something that starts with the word space.
What about Space Station? What do you think, Peyton?
Ooh, that's right. That's
the International Space Station.
Yes,
I'm just.
Yeah, let's go with it.
Space Station? All right.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Papa, not on the list. No space stations on the list. Nope, not today. Team Thor, Mark, name something that starts with the word space.
Spaceballs.
I love that movie.
Oh,
great movie.
It's a great movie.
That's a big
I was
helmet.
close with Star Wars. I just had to adapt
it. It was a great movie. What was your final answer?
That is it, man. I'm going all in. Spaceballs.
Papa, not on the list. No.
What?
Nah.
Oh, jeez.
Those are not Americans.
Oh, they are very much Americans, because if you see the answers, you'll know that these are Americans. I'm sorry. Name something that starts with the word space. Team Morbius, Peyton and DC. What you got?
Let's see. What about... I saw one that I liked. What was it? Okay, so Sir suggested Space Bar. What do you think about
Space Bar? Oh, yeah. Let's do that. Duh. Exactly. It's where you get drinks in space. I love it.
Yeah. That's where Mark is. That's where
Mark is right now. Yeah.
I passed by the Space Bar one too many times.
Let's do.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Babao, not on the list. No space bar.
Oh, what?
Nah.
That's shocking.
Nah. All right. Look.
That is shocking.
Team Thor, name something that starts with the word space.
Okay.
We have Space Invaders and we have Spaceship.
Spaceship, Space Invaders. Okay. Let's go with. Okay. Brian says Spacewalk, and I don't. Oh, I know. Space Shuttle.
Oh.
Let's do Space Shuttle.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer. Yes.
Ding, ding, ding. It's number 1.
Yeah!
Number 1.
Oh.
Yes. Let's go. Here we go.
He's got his groove now.
Yeah.
Team Morbius. All right, we have a 2-1. You need to get this to tie break it. Team Morbius. Name something that starts with the word space. We have Space Shuttle, Space Invaders, and Spaceship.
What about space suit? Is that a term?
Maybe.
Yeah. The next.
I don't. Space opera. I mean, that's a genre. But I like spacesuit. That kind of sounds like a thing.
It's not it.
Is it?
Shoot.
Or space age?
Space age.
Look at the list.
Space Saver.
Look at what?
Space Saver.
What? Did you just say Space Saber?
Is that what it's
I mean,
called?
I did say that.
Is
Space
that
Cadet? Oh, Space Cadet. That's a thing.
Okay.
I need a final answer, Team Morbius. Where are we going?
Oh, no.
We're going to space.
Yes. I need the second part. The second part. Name something that starts with the word space.
How about Space Cadet? How about, should we go with that, Peyton?
Sure.
Is that your final answer?
Space Cadet.
Peyton doesn't sound very convinced with this at all. At all. DC is riding right on your shoulders. She's just like, I don't know. But, you're the guest, so maybe. Space Cadet, that's it?
So.
That's the one?
I don't know.
Ding, ding, ding. It's on the list. Yes, it's number 3. Yes!
I knew it was.
I thought if that one wasn't on there, I would have been shocked.
Space Cadet is on the list. So we have a tiebreaker situation. A tiebreaker situation. T.O. Space Jam. I like that. Good movie. Name something that starts with the word space. Now, we have a tiebreaker situation, which means it's going to be a clue, and the first person in with their team name gets to go first. Gets a chance to claim victory today on What the Book's Booker Reviewed. The prestige of winning one of our competitions is just phenomenal.
So you give the clue, and then you read the question, and then we go.
Yes. Correct.
To clarify.
Well done.
All
right.
Making sure.
The clue is, at some point in this game, somebody has said it. There's your clue. Name something that starts with the word space.
Thor.
Morbius.
Oh, Thor came in first. Ooh. All right, you got to get in fast.
I don't think I got it. I think you guys are going to get shot. I'm going to say Space Race.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, that's my final answer.
Papa, not on the list. Team Morbius, you have a chance to swoop in and take the win. Swoop in and take the win today. Name something that starts with the word space. We have Space Shuttle, Space Invaders, Space Cadet, Spaceship. What is number 5 on the list? It has already been said.
Ben said.
You've already said it. Somebody has already said this answer but not used it.
Oh.
The Space Age one?
Space. Did we say Space Walk? Space. I don't think we said Space Age. I think I see that in chat now, but. Oh boy.
What have you already said but did not use? Well, I feel like Dr. Seuss.
I feel like it's Space Age or Space Travel.
You guys know you want to say Space Pants because I said that. You know you want to say Space Pants.
It's not Space Pants. It's not
Space Jammies.
Space Jammies, no.
No. I'm just. Anyway. Spacewalk. I think it's Spacewalk. I'm just going to say that, Peyton. You tell me.
Yeah.
What you.
Yeah.
Is that your final answer?
I'm okay with it. I think we should.
Gosh, you're so committed to this. Come on.
Yeah. I'm saying yes because I'm hungry.
That's a great reason.
We're gonna spacewalk ourselves to whatever Peyton's gonna have for dinner.
All right, Bubbo, not on the list. Not on the list. Oh my God, you're gonna kick yourself when you work this one out, DC. You are gonna kick yourself, Mark.
I already
Team
know the answer.
Thor.
I already know the answer.
What is name something that starts with the word space?
They totally said it, and it's in the chat. Space Age. Final answer.
Babo, not on the goddamn list. God. You're killing me here. You're killing me. All right, Team Morbius, come on. DC, I will give you the clue. You said it already. You specifically have already said it and shot it down in your own head, and it was right. Name something that starts with the word space.
What has already been said?
I can't tell you. I'm not that dumb. I'm not
That's the
blind.
answer.
Jesus.
No. I mean, what are the ones that we already got right?
Oh,
repeating
we have
those.
had Space Shuttle, we have had Space Invaders, Space Cadet, and Space Ship. There is number 5.
Oh,
The last.
Space suit.
Is that your
right?
final answer?
Peyton, what do you think?
You're killing me. I swear to God, you're killing me here.
Hey, it's a team effort, okay? I'm not just going to go out and just say anything, okay? Let's do, if you're okay with it, let's do Space Suit.
Bubbo, not on the list.
Oh.
Not on the list.
I don't remember what I said.
I swear if it's space pants, I'm going to lose
not
it.
Space pants. It's not Space pants. Now this, okay. I'm gonna give a clue, and the first person in with their team can go ahead. All right, because you're killing me. I swear to God. This has nothing to do. This word that begins with space has nothing to do with space. Nothing to do with space whatsoever. It just has the word space at the start of it. It's actually 2 words. It's not even 1 word. But name something that starts with the word space, and DC has already said it. No, it's not space shoes or suit or jam or jammies or pants or anything like that. Space bar's already been said, T.O. Not on the list.
Yeah, that was shut down. Huh? Oh, wow.
Oh.
Thor?
Team Thor, yes?
I mean, I don't know if they said this, but I like Sir's answer of Space Saver.
Did you say that one, DC? Did you say that one?
I have no idea. I'm like 3 drinks in now.
Thor, Team Thor. Mark, what's your final answer? Yeah. You came in first? Give me an answer.
We're going to go with Sir. We're going to go with Space Saver.
Ding, ding, ding. It's on the list. You win. Oh, thank God.
Yes. Wow. I did not know that was said. I thought there's no way.
No, DC said it a number of times. Yeah, yeah.
I can't remember.
You did, and I'm just like, use it. You swapped to Space Cadet. It was the same one that you said Space Cadet. You were tossing up Space Cadet and Space Saver. And I'm like, both of them are there. Both of them are there.
Hey, sir, I'm not drunk, but I'm also not, right? Just deal with me.
I've been having a little bit of space beer over here. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, I'm drinking Blue Moon, which is in space. Thank you.
Oh, there you go.
What's Blue Moon?
Automatically coming together.
Blue Moon is a Belgian white wheat ale.
Oh.
From America.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's tasty.
I'm drinking coffee because it's like 10 a.m. So I don't think the bars haven't even opened yet. So, yes, normal, regular, everyday coffee. Instant even. Because that's how I roll this early in the morning. Peyton. God, I can just feel the lows come out then. Oh, my God. Congratulations, Team Thor. Mark, for the win today. Well done. Yay. Snaps. I do deserve better, Brian. I do. I know. But, somebody's got to make her own coffee around here. So that's what I get. DC Wright-Hammer, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. This has been a blast.
It's a something, isn't it? It's a something.
It's a something.
It's a something. For those, of course, playing at home, Between Two Minds, the series, Awakening Book 1, Revelation Book 2. Stalk, in the most sweetest of ways, DC Wright-Hammer 2 is the thing. Well, we stalk nicely. We don't stalk badly. It's bad. By the way, DC, you need new milk. You're running out. DC Wright-Hammer, thank you for being here. Guys, go and stalk him and buy his books. Review, because they're totally worth it. Get him up to 100. He's at 81. He needs 19 more reviews to get to 100. We can do that for him.
Yes, get it done.
Woo! Yeah. Of course, Peyton Storm, second time in, feeling better, feeling more at home.
I am. If I could get my mic working, I don't.
It sounds amazing
right
now.
It's great.
Great right now.
Whatever's happening right now, perfect. Keep it.
It's what I've been doing the whole time.
Okay, cool. Cool. Well,
it's the cables. the cables that go under the ocean that connect our continents. I'm convinced it's something. It's not us, man.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
We will.
Okay, I'm hungry. So.
All right, you go eat, Mark. Mark Davis, MB Davis. Thank you. Of course, we got to feed you before you start, Peyton. That's it. You got to come with food.
Well, I did eat before. That's the problem.
Well, maybe you just need to come with a bowl of snacks. All right. Thank you, MB Davis. Thank you, Peyton Storm, beautiful co-host that I have, DC Wright-Hammer. It's been an absolute honor to have you on What the Book. Can't wait to see what you do next. Writers Row, of course, on YouTube. The Between Two Minds is their series. Stalk, enjoy, review. Of course, we will see you all again next week. Same podcast time, same podcast channel, different podcast guests, but you get the same host. So party on, people. We love you. Stay safe till next week. Bye for now.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.